We're meeting with the head coach of the Trine Thunder, Mr. Brooks Miller, who is a few months from winning a national championship. Coach, a few months later, some time to reflect. What's your biggest takeaway from what your team accomplished last year?
One of the things is I don't think I've talked to you personally on camera since the Elite Eight game, when we were able to come back and win that game. I just very proud to be associated with not just our basketball program, but the university that provides us the opportunity to achieve something of that high level. I think when you're talking about national championships or even conference championships, because if you win an MIAA conference championship, you're good enough to win one of those. It's just the support system you have from your athletic department and from the top. So the reflection, being able to go to the White House, I think that's when it really hit home. When we were at the White House and you looked around, you realized where you were, and we were able to share that with 45 or 50 other national championship caliber programs. It was pretty special, and that momentum, we're just trying to continue to ride that into the future here, and we're excited about being the number 1 ranked team in the country. I think that's really an achievement, not just based on what we did last year, but it's an achievement that the voters knew who we had coming in. So I think it was our first real achievement of this year's team, and it's something that we're proud of. And now we both know we want to be ranked number 1 at the end, but I think this is an exciting opportunity for us to learn from in this situation.
I thought that you put together a really special day for not just your players, but also the whole community when you had your ring celebration. And obviously you praised your players, but you spent most of the time praising arena workers, praising the athletic department, the people sort of behind the scenes. Why is that such a priority for you? Not just on that day, but throughout the time that I've been working with you, to really include everybody when you talk about your success?
Well, I think no matter what you're building, whether it's something as beautiful as the MTI Center, a family, or a program, you have to have a foundation, and you got to have fundamentals to make sure that foundation is sturdy and allows you to grow and build something that special. And those people behind the scenes, Jeff Beam, our maintenance guy, the hours he's put in to make sure our guys have baskets to shoot on, making sure the floor is clean, making sure the arena is presentable to people that come in, recruits, alumni, whoever that may be. It's really unique. Jenny Hamilton, our secretary, the things that she's able to do and juggle is just remarkable, and all the way down the list of, there's just so many. We had the 5th graders from Henry Parker here on a field trip. I happened to walk into the arena today, and all of them were there, and I said, hey, let's go on a real tour. Do you got time for me to spend some time with these guys? Awesome. And we took a picture, and I showed them that banner on the wall, and I said, that's up there. You guys played a part of that. This home court advantage was real this year. 26,000 people came to the MTI Center to be a part of our success and to share in our failures at times, to help us get through those, and we wouldn't have been able to achieve what we did without that support. So we just want to make sure everybody understands how thankful we are, and how we know this just didn't happen because we have good shooters or we made a couple good decisions in the huddle. It goes way beyond that, and we're just really thankful to be a part of this community and represent what it stands for, and that's togetherness, hard work, unselfishness, and this is what it can accumulate to.
Part of that day, you had Cortez Garland speak to the group, and Cortez talked about a leadership study that you guys had gone through. And I thought about what you accomplished last year on the court by taking Cortez and Fred and Drew, who all transferred in, and blending them with Emmanuel and Aiden and Nate and the rest of the guys you already had. The fact that they were able to come together so quickly and accomplish the highest thing that you can accomplish is remarkable to me. How did it all come together so quickly with that group?
Well, I think when we really focused on what brought us together and why did Cortez and Fred want to come to Trine? Well, they wanted to come to Trine because they knew when they competed against us that there was something unique and special about how we did things here and the type of people we had. And I told Brent and Emmanuel and Tucker and Smiley and all those guys who were in that room, this is a compliment to you. They are here because of you. They want to be a part of what you're doing. They respect you guys. So let's do everything we can to make those guys feel comfortable, because what they bring to the table is something we don't have, and that's speed. And then when we had added Drew Moore to the mix later in the summer, and his enthusiasm and just natural love for his teammates and love of basketball. I mean, these 3 guys loved basketball and what comes with good basketball. So they absorbed everything we wanted to do. They were very gracious leaders behind the scenes. I think they were servant leaders, and we had our difficult moments of tug of war, maybe a little bit when it comes to manly type things, right, and things that come with basketball. There's only one ball, but in the end, watching those guys work through their struggles to really understand, hey, this is what we have to do, this is what it's going to take, was really awesome. And I think everybody saw that by the way we played. I think we were second in the conference in assists at a very high level, one of the best sharing of the basketball teams in the country. Defensively, we were just really one unit a lot of times, many different possessions, the way they moved together. And that comes with really having a high level of respect and value and communication. And that communication comes from an enthusiasm. It's really difficult to communicate if you don't have an enthusiasm about what you're doing and about who you're doing it with. So I thought that was really special.
And that enthusiasm carried all the way to the end of your bench.
Yeah.
Like during your games, the engagement, 1 through 20 or however many guys we had on the roster, it was remarkable. It was special the way that everybody was pulling on the rope together.
Yeah, unsung MVPs of our team were Cameron Alls, Evan Lumbreeser, guys that made our team the best ball screen defensive team in the country each and every day because they had a really great feel and practice for how to make us better, things they could take advantage of, and they know their role. They know how high of a level of success or what they did that played in our success. I told people that day at the ring ceremony, I said, the first person I'm going to think about when I think about this team is Cameron Alls. He came here to play basketball and be a part of something special, and everybody wants to play 20 to 25 minutes or get that starting role, and Cam was able to accept the fact that this is my role on this team, even though it was a little unexpected when Cortez was added to the group late, but he embraced that and he made us a championship team, and Evan is just a consummate teammate. So up and down the board, that level of enthusiasm and that support for each other as a head coach was really awesome to watch.
There was a special, unique quality to your team in that I can say here today, and I think we could have a debate about who your MVP was.
Yeah.
Probably Cortez, but also maybe Fred, or maybe Aiden, or maybe Emmanuel, or maybe Brent. Yep. I mean, these guys stepped up in such a way, and it was such an unselfish brand of basketball that you guys played. Coaches talk about that all the time. But to actually accomplish that level of buy-in to each other among your star players was really special.
Yeah, I remember going to Hope. I think it was in January, and I think we just beat Calvin the game before at Calvin. They were ranked in the top 5 in the country, and we go to Hope, and there was a couple people there coming to watch us play. And the guy said, "Who's your best player?" This is pregame. I said, "I would love for you to tell me when we're done."
Right.
And we got done with the game. We were very successful. We played extremely well. And he goes, "You're right. I couldn't point out to it." I said, "I tell you what you could do, though. We couldn't play without Emmanuel and have success at a high level. We couldn't have Brent coming in off the bench or in a starting role without rebounding and doing the things he does. Cortez handling the ball, Fred and Drew scoring the ball, and that night I think Tucker had 25 points coming off the bench. So there were so many guys that each and every one of them really embraced what they had to do well to help us win, and they did it every day. It wasn't just on game night. It was every day in practice, understanding what their roles were and embracing that.
So we've talked a lot about the guys that are going to be back this year, so many familiar names, but I suspect there are some players that maybe your fans don't know so well that might get an opportunity to contribute this year. Could you introduce some of those guys to us today and give us a feel for who might get a chance to contribute?
I can, and 3 of the guys were here last year and had a lot to do with our success. Jace Cusack will be a sophomore for us. He's going to play starter minutes for us. When I say starter minutes, I think we have 7 to 8 guys that could start for us on any given night that are going to play major minutes, anywhere from 15 to 25 to 30 minutes a night. Jace is one of those guys. He does a lot of great things. He's become an incredible defensive player now that he's healthy. He played a little bit for us as a freshman, got hurt. Logan McKenzie has improved and worked extremely hard in the offseason. He'll do a lot of great things for us coming off the bench at first, giving Emmanuel a spell, giving us a really nice paint presence, very similar to what Brent gave us the past 5 years. And Logan Guard has really improved a ton for us. So we're excited about his growth and progress. But some of our new players, Cade Brenner, a freshman from Archbold, field. I'm not trying to set the bar really high for him or put too much pressure on him, but I don't think we've had a freshman come in here with this mentality and skill set since Will Dixon. People ask me a lot about Cade, and I said I think he's a 6'4" version of Will Dixon, if anything else. And then the 3 grad transfers, Camden Smith from Anderson, 2-time all-conference player, took Anderson to 2 NCAA tournaments. He's really going to help us handle the ball and help us attack the rim, and defensively he's just a real smart player. Max Greenamoyer from Hanover College is a graduate transfer, great shooter, unbelievable teammate. I think his mindset and his why he came to trying to be a part of something special. He wants to be a coach. We played them in our first game last year, and I think that the way we played opened his eyes as well, and he wanted to come here. And then Trevor Montiel, who's a grad transfer from Benedictine. He scored 1,500 points in his career at Benedictine. We played against Trevor 3 different times and has really some great finishes against his team. So it's nice to have him a part of what we do. He'll add depth to our front court. And then another young man, Isaac Wright, is a freshman who we anticipated being a part of our JV team, but has really come in here and has shown that he is just mature beyond his years. And he was a multiple sport athlete in high school, quarterback. We got like 3 or 4 quarterbacks on this team. I love it. The guys that know how to make plays on the ball. Quarterbacks, free safeties, shortstops, center fielders, guys that did that. Those guys really have a lot of success with us.
You mentioned the preseason ranking, number 1. Obviously, everybody in the conference, you're going to have a target on your back for them. Everybody that we play non-conference, you're the national champs, the defenders. Do you embrace that as a team? What's your approach to being kind of the hunted this year?
Well, I do. I think we want to own that. I think you always have a target on your back. You know, if a team doesn't come in and play their best game against you, then the other coach isn't doing what they're supposed to do, or they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I don't think that happens here very often, especially the last 5 or 6 years. So we have no problem with that. We really appreciate the respect that in order to achieve a ranking like that. But I think you have to remember that if people view you as number 1, that means you have to carry yourself a certain way. You have to act a certain way. You have to have a high level of respect for the people that you have had to, the challenges you've had to overcome to get to that spot. So we're embracing that number 1 ranking. Like I said, we all know it doesn't matter until the last ranking, but up until then, we're going to do everything we can to retain that and play our best basketball and represent what it means to be considered arguably one of the best teams in the country, and we're excited about that challenge.
Last question for you, and you can talk about this in terms of yourself or your players, but you guys have reached the pinnacle. You climbed the mountain. You won the national championship. There was nothing else that you could have accomplished last year. What's the fuel for your fire now? What keeps you grinding? What keeps you working so hard, both you and your players, to continue to get better for the university and for the game of basketball?
Well, I think you said it. It's all about improvement. The minute we stop trying to learn or trying to improve or have something to prove, have that chip on your shoulder, I think you start dying or you start falling behind. And I don't think any of us, after with our returning guys that have had that sense of success, have tasted that, I think you start to crave it. And the new guys that came here because they want to be a part of it. So the hunger in that locker room right now is extremely high. There is a lot of intensity. There is a lot of competition. And I think that's something that maybe we didn't have back in 2022 after coming off an undefeated regular season and losing that championship game to Randolph-Macon. We didn't have that hunger, that fight for every minute. So I think just being a competitor brings that fire, and understanding every day we get to walk into the most beautiful arena in all of small college athletics, and knowing what it has taken from Metal Technologies Incorporated with Rick and Vicky and Keith and Cindy and all the people that have put their time, their effort into creating these opportunities for student athletes here at Trine, not just in basketball, but across the board. But when they walk into the MTI Center, they understand that this is way bigger than us. It's going to be here once I'm gone. This is way bigger than us and our staff and those guys as individuals. And there's something that we have to continue to build and grow on. And again, like I talked about, really capitalize on the momentum that we've had the last few years, which culminated in a championship last year.
The Trine Thunder are the national champions, defending into 24 and 25. Coach Miller, we can't wait to get the season started, and all the best to you.
Well, thanks. I don't know if we're defending as much as we're trying to win another one. That's where Coach Holtz and I went to dinner a couple weeks ago with a variety of different people there, and he said that to me. He goes, "You're not defending. Remember, you're trying to win it again." And I really appreciated that, and I got that written down in my office. So thank you.